I am starting the filling for my raisin pie. So in my pan I have 2 cups of water and 1 3/4 cups of raisins. I'm going to bring that to a boil, and I'm going to let that simmer. After it brings to a boil, just make sure that you turn down the heat and let it simmer for 25 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and then I will show you how to finish the pie. Okay, I've got my raisins simmering on the stove, and I've got about 12 minutes left, so I thought I'd go ahead and get the pie crust out of the freezer and roll it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this pie crust in half, or cut this ball in half, because half of it will be for the bottom and half of it will be for the top. So I have got this handy dandy little silicone mat, and you may not be able to see, but it tells me, it has measurements on it, so I know how big to make my dough. So I am using a pie plate, nifty little pie plate here. I've got my rolling pin, and I'm just going to roll it out. It's cold enough so it shouldn't stick, but if it does stick, then you can just put a little bit of flour down. This is kind of sticking a little bit, so just get just a little bit of flour. And put some on my rolling pin here. So I'm going to try to roll this out into a 9-inch circle. And you just kind of go back and forth. And you want to turn it over. It's okay if it breaks, because you just use your rolling pin, stick it back together again. So what I'm trying to do is make it big enough to where it will cover the bottom of my pie pan. Just need to roll it out a little bit more on this side. You also don't want like a too thick crust, because then your pie will be done before the crust gets done and you'll have a doughy crust on the bottom. My grandmother always did it, was kind of fold it in half and then lay it in here. For my raisin filling, I am going to need some butter. So I've got my little thing of butter. But my grandma, she always used to get on to me if I was going to throw away the butter papers. She always used to use them to grease her pans. So that's what I am doing. So I grease that. So it's a perfect amount, just a little bit. I am going to very carefully place this in the pan. You kind of have to work with it a little bit. Make sure it's all covered. I've got too much over here. I'm just going to cut some off and pinch it together. Really doesn't matter what it looks like on the bottom. You're not going to see that part. You just want to make sure that it's all covered. And then when it is, you can just cut the excess dough off. If you want to learn how to make a pretty pie, you probably don't want to watch me. But if you want to make a pie that tastes really good, this is the recipe to use. So now I just gonna put this out of the way, and I've got my other side that I need to roll out. This will be the top of my pie crust. So a little more flour. A little more flour on my rolling pin. Get it out of the way. And then I just start. When I was little, My mom and my grandma used to always get together and make pies. We just have one big day of pie making. That's what all they do. They wouldn't cook them, but they would freeze them. So that way, if they had company coming and it was like a, a surprise sort of thing, they could just get it out of the freezer. If they knew ahead of time, they could defrost it in the fridge. But if they didn't know, they could just get it out of the freezer, put it in a cold oven, then turn it on, and it could warm up as it's preheating. And then they would have the pie already made, and it would be in there, and just, that was one of their little secrets. But we also had quite a bit of fruit trees, peach, apple, cherry. And so they would use the fruit from their trees and make the pies. And I always love those days. I love those days of being able to be with my mom and my grandma and learn how to make pies and learn how to do this pie crust and just really be a part of, a great family heritage. All right, so we've got probably about 5 more minutes on the raisins. And we're done with this pie crust until we can set it and get it fixed. So what we're going to do now is finish our raisin filling. So we want to go ahead and mix some sugar and some cornstarch. And the cornstarch is what's going to thicken up the filling. So let me get out my measuring cups here. And I do need a bowl. Grab a bowl down here, and I need 3/4 cups of sugar, and I need 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. A tablespoon here. There's 1. 2, 3, and 4. Let's get it out of the way. We're just going to mix that together. And then I love this next. Add a pinch of salt. That's what we're going to do. I'm just going to use regular salt and a pinch. And then it says add a tablespoon of butter. So I've got my butter over there ready. Now we just have to more minutes on the raisins. So right now what I've got to do is go to the fridge and get some lemon juice, because we're going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice to the raisins. We'll add our butter, and then we'll add our sugar and cornstarch in there. We'll mix it all up together, and they'll be ready for the pie. Okay, normally I like to use real lemon juice, but there are certain times where I don't have it, so I do use bottled lemon juice. Let me clean out my measuring spoon. You've got the juice in there. It'll mix with the cornstarch and the sugar, so it'll give it that filling. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the lemon juice, 1 tablespoon. Lemon juice. And we need a tablespoon of butter, so I've got that over here. 1 tablespoon of butter. Go ahead and mix that up. And then we will pour in the sugar and the cornstarch mixture. And then once you get all of this together, you're going to bake it in a 350-degree oven. So I'm going to go ahead and get my oven preheated until the crust is brown. So I'm thinking probably, I'm going to check it over after 30 minutes. I'm always really careful when it comes to pies. I'm always scared that I'm going to burn them. So I'll probably check it after 30 minutes. I'm thinking it's going to take about 45 to 50 minutes to actually cook. So here we go. I'm going to put in the sugar and cornstarch mixture. Mixed up. Got my pie crust over here. Turn that off. There we go. We're just going to pour that right into my pie crust. Right. Now I've got my top crust to go. Alright, now my mom always made a special design whenever she did her pie crust. So I've started doing that. You gotta have a way to vent the pie. So I've taken on her little design. So I go ahead and do that while it's here on the mat. Makes it a lot easier. Okay, now I'm going to fold this up, trying not to tear it in half, and then bring it on over and put it on top here. Alright. Now, this is a little bit harder when you're trying to get it fixed. Now here's where I say that I'm not really good with pretty pies. I've done different types of crusts. I've done a lattice crust before, and it actually turned out really good. But I tried to make a fancy edging around it, like a sprayed. I thought, oh, this is gonna look really cool, and then it, after I cooked it, the braid all fell off. So, yeah, it is just not my specialty to make it look really pretty, but I can make it taste good, so that's what's important. I was told that there's actually a restaurant that is like the home of the ugly pie. I'm thinking, oh, I need to work there. I can make them look really ugly. So I'm just going to crimp the side of this. You can use a fork. You know, my mom and my grandma used to always use their fingers just like this. Even got a little bit of the filling coming out. And that reminds me that I need to put this on a pan so that the filling doesn't go all over my oven. So I'm going to go ahead and get the pan, and I'm going to get the egg white so I can brush the top of it with the egg white and I'll bake it nice and golden brown. Okay, so here's my egg white. I'm just going to do that. And sometimes you have to thin it out with a little bit of water, which is what I'm going to do. Okay. So let me see if I can find my pastry brush. I'll just improvise. I'll just use my fingers and I'll just go over it like this. Now the other thing that my mom likes to do is after she brushes it with egg white, she likes to put a little bit of, oh, my oven's done. She likes to sprinkle a little bit of sugar on there. Okay. So there's my egg wash. Awesome. Okay. And I don't like a whole lot of sugar. I love the way that it shines. So I am putting just a sprinkling of sugar on top to hold true to my grandmother's recipe. Put it on my pan right here. And now I'm going to put it in the oven. I'm going to check it after, I said 30 minutes, I think probably 20 minutes. I know it won't be done, but I want to make sure that the around the edge of the crust is not burning. If it is, that's where I use some aluminum foil and just put it around the edge so that it doesn't burn while the rest of the pie is cooking. So that is my raisin pie. I will show you guys what it looks like whenever it comes out of the oven, but we don't get to eat it until tomorrow. So thank you for sticking with me, and please let me know what you think about this recipe. If you have anything similar that you want to share, or any memories that you have cooking with your mom or your grandma. So, see ya! It is time to check that raisin pie that I put in the oven. And guys, seriously, I wish you could smell it. It smells so good. And look, there it is. Doesn't that look good? Wish I could cut into it to show you guys. So anyway, I am going to let it sit in the oven for a little bit longer. It is almost done. And then I will show the rest of it to you tomorrow.
Like you were born at the hospital.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I just want to
I think so. We went to this garage sale. We felt sorry for you because no one would buy you. We told them we would
It's
a
raisin
dime for you.
pie.
We took you home. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I hope it turns out good.
Tried to take her back. We tried to return you.
They tried to return you. They wouldn't take you back.
No, they didn't, Drew. I remember. I was there.
How it looks.
You was born to your mommy and your daddy.
I kind of think Carla was born on Thursday.